there was a flood, a really bad flood in Baton Rouge a while back. You all made me remember 5 to 8 years ago, maybe. And Baton Rouge is not in the floodplain. Yeah, you remember. Baton Rouge is not in the floodplain, so they were super surprised. But my brother called me from his place, Prairieville, and he was crying. And we had been tracking this on the news because it was such a big thing. And he was crying, and I knew right away what he was about to tell me. He said, everything's gone. He said, the house is flooded. We're in 6 inches of water. He says, Michael, I don't know what, it's my youngest brother, Rob. He says, I don't know what we're going to do. And I said, well, first things first, I think, is cleanup. You got some people coming? He says, yeah, they do this sometimes down here with floods, with the crew coming out. And I said, I'm going to be on the first plane to come down. And he got quiet. And that's how I knew he loved me. And I had other things going. I canceled my other things, and I went down to see my brother. And I've never been a first responder before. Lots of you are, and have been, and will be. But it is a remarkable experience. It's not just something that makes you feel good for helping out. First, you have to be traumatized yourself. And as I rode into the flood zone, I noticed that there was a lot of furniture and stuff out on the, it's like everybody was having a garage sale on the same day. Because when your house floods, anything that gets wet has to be thrown out. And everything had gotten wet in everyone's house. And everybody had just gone out to the curb with all of their furnishings, all of their furniture. And we rolled into my brother's neighborhood, and I see furniture. I had been with my brother at his house many times, and the credenza and the couch and stuff is out in the front yard. And I'm like, my heart like goes up into my throat, and I'm like, oh my God, how bad can this be? And I go in, and I just stand in. I had let myself in because he's out back, and we met in the middle of the house, and we didn't even say anything to each other. My brother Rob, who is not like this, he fell into my arms weeping. And I stayed to do the. I wanted to be there for this cleanup that comes in. They have a crew that does this. Anybody know what they're called? Demo, maybe demo crew or something. What is it? Restoration? Yeah. Well, it's not that official. Like they're not even employees. They're people from the neighborhood, and it turns out service clubs that come in to do this nasty work, and it is nasty. We're in the middle of the summer, and no electricity. Of course, all the power's out, and we got masks on. This is pre-COVID. And we're gonna cut out the drywall, like 24 inches above the floor, take it all out, go in with flat shovels and pull out all that soft, mucky insulation, right? The hardwood floors all have to be pried up. When we were done, you could look through the house. On the bottom, you could see all the way through the house because all of the walls were gone. And that's just the cleanup part. Now it all has to be repaired, right? So it's a very, very traumatic thing. And I kept asking my brother, what time's the crew get here? And he goes, well, they'll be here such and such a time. I said, who is it? Who's the organizing group? And when I said it, I'm like leaning in, like, because I'm listening for the R word, right? This would be like the best. Because now Rotary's helping my brother in his time of need. This would be the best. And he didn't know. He said, they're just coming. I think I was there the night before. I flew in the night before, so I get there at 5 o'clock in the morning because it's going to be a 12, 14-hour day. This is how they work. And I get there, and they're not here yet. They're not here yet. And then he says they're here all of a sudden. And we go outside, and these 10 guys get off, all men, because it's nasty work, man. Nobody wants to do this. It meant these guys are good at it. And they got all their tools and stuff. They got thermoses. They got generators. They got all the stuff they need to gut my brother's house. And I said, so nice to meet you guys. And we're like football team, choosing sides. We're all standing around in a circle and flipping a coin to see who's going to go in first, that kind of a thing. And I said, what group are you with? And they said, Kiwanis. And it made me feel so good. Because there's people like us out there. Sometimes they're just called something else. Later, I found out Rotary contributed money to my brother's neighborhood because they had been doing their work on the ground. Rotary was not absent. I just didn't see them that day. And my brother got a taste of service in a way that he never thought he would. But these are the kinds of people, resourceful, coachable, decisive. They get stuff done. It's lovely.